Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Dividend Diplomats proudly brings to you its most electrifying stock out here on the stock market. The Burt, the Hurt, and Lanny, the Dividend Diplomats.
Subscribe to the channel. Give this video thumbs up. You got Macho Bird over here, and we got the Hulkster on that side. We're gonna talk to you today about one of our favorite companies out there.
Guys, today's not actually going to be about a dividend stock. It is the day after night one of WrestleMania. We are heading into night two of WrestleMania, guys. If you haven't paid attention, let me make you pay attention now. The Rock is back. WWE has been on fire and fuego. You've got a lot of heat going on right now within the company. I don't think that WWE has been trending like this probably for about 20 years.
Yeah, it is on fire. Everything is just working for WWE and TKO. So we are pumped up. We figured WrestleMania couldn't be a better time for us to talk about the company that is producing the two-night show. We're recording this ahead of WrestleMania, though, so this video is getting released in between. So we do not know any of the results. So don't expect any results or discussion about night one in this video. We're focused on what's going on with this company, and we'll talk about some of the metrics.
Yeah, you're right, bro. We are recording this on April 4th. And Bert and I, we were just exchanging texts, counting down the hours. Yes, we're back in our childhood element here, guys. 72 hours, 48 hours. Guys, we are less than 48 hours away. But again, if you're watching this, night one is already done. But we're going to be talking about TKO, the newly combined entity. Yes, for the first time on this channel, we are talking about TKO, the combination of WWE and UFC joining forces here together as one company as of September of 2023. Compliments to Endeavor and WWE coming together for the two big entertainment companies.
Now let's just talk about how big of a milestone that was in and of itself, because WWE's had its rumored sale for what, a decade as Vince McMahon aged. And this is really the first time that WWE's left his family's hands, right, Lanny? Like this is the first time that the McMahon hasn't owned WWE.
Yeah, so TKO or Endeavor ended up owning 51%, and the WWE stock shareholders ended up getting 49%. So not majority owned by the McMahons. And obviously, McMahon has had his allegations, controversy that has been happening for about 15 to 18 months. Vince did recently step down, and you can catch all the news as well. He's been also selling a boatload of TKO stock at a whim. Pretty sure he made $1 billion+ on the deal here. And again, they've been doing enough to kind of try to put that noise away from Vince McMahon.
Yeah, and ever since January, ever since the stuff went down, ever since the major news, but ever since Royal Rumble onward, it's just been constant news and constant action. And that's because it got a little bit more electrifying at TKO, didn't it, Lanny?
Oh, the Brahma Bull, The Rock, made his comeback. The Rock is now a board member of TKO. But not only that, but I don't think anybody realized how big of a deal this is. We've all seen Amazon Prime take their stab at Thursday Night Football, one live event a week for a season. But WWE, aka TKO, struck a deal with Netflix to move their Monday Night Raw talents to Netflix. So Netflix will be airing a live airing of Raw every Monday night, I think starting in 2025.
Yeah, it's unprecedented that this regularly scheduled, this consistent event is going to be popping up on Netflix. And there's another hidden piece to this too that's going to be so fascinating. Because one of the big gripes for a lot of wrestling fans, and a lot of, I mean, while wrestling grew, it turned off a lot of fans. There's obviously the Attitude Era of the 90s, and there was a lot of the violence that came along with it, and a lot of the smack talking, the swearing, and just all the stuff you could do when WWE wasn't rated PG. And then obviously to expand family reach, to expand their presence on networks, the show started becoming PG rated so that you can like reach a broader audience and it becomes more marketable. Netflix doesn't necessarily have that same restriction, Lanny. So as you move on to the streaming network and you're not catering to the network cable audience anymore, WWE is going to get back a lot of the stuff it had to kind of give up over the last few years and might be able to pull back some of those fans that had stepped away, I guess, stepped out of the ring and just called quits on it.
Yeah, it should be a little bit more vulgar, should be a little bit more intense, especially from what we have seen lately between The Rock and Cody Rhodes, guys. That was a $5 billion plus deal with Netflix, so I do have to mention that. And when these two, yeah, and when these two entities combined, they actually had their first Q4 full earnings back in the fourth quarter of 2023. And it was surprising to see that UFC, I thought, had more revenue than WWE, but that wasn't true. UFC was about 283, and WWE was at 331 million in revenue for the quarter. So combined, well over 600 million in revenue for that, Q4 alone. And their expectations for 2024 is just about $2.6 billion here in 2024. So not a small number by any means.
No, that is not a small number at all. And again, they've been firing on all cylinders this year so far. They're up 14%. So it's been a nice run to start 2024 for TKO.
Yeah. And then the other news that just hit this week is that Endeavor, again, who owned 51% of TKO, Endeavor is actually getting bought out by a private equity firm by about $13 billion. And that means that this private equity firm more than likely will have, I don't know if it's going to be all 51% of the stake that they have in TKO. TKO will remain private. Endeavor will be private, or will remain public. Then Endeavor will be private, and private equity will be behind this, which will be interesting.
Yeah, so just think about some of the things that we've talked about here. Netflix is pouring billions of dollars to get these live events in here. They want the live action sports, whether it's UFC fights, whether it's boxing, WWE for Raw in 2025. Their push isn't to go into football. It's not to go into baseball. It's to focus here. That's bringing in all different kinds of suitors too, as Endeavor's now going private. So the money is going into this sector to which WWE is just sure to benefit. And just watching them explode, seeing new characters get developed, they're ready to go for this and have the money fuel them and take it to the next level. It's a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, and I'm just picturing the docuseries or documentaries that they may also be able to do within Netflix after they start this, I guess, project or platform with Netflix.
And I wonder how many old matches are going to be available on Netflix too. How many more people are just going to flock there to watch Rock versus Hogan or watch Taker versus Shawn Michaels or Hogan versus Andre? I mean, how much of the library is going to be on Netflix? Who knows?
Yes, it's all about building revenue, building brand recognition, building more fans, more revenue, more merchandise, et cetera, guys. We will take a look at TKO's metrics. Again, they're not a dividend stock. They do not pay a dividend. But gosh dang it, we had to at least look at their valuation on a price to earnings, standpoint, and to see if this is a stock that's undervalued right now and a stock to buy possibly. It's going to be a very quick metric for TKO. The one thing that I wanted to also take a look at as we were analyzing TKO as well came down to their, kind of their balance sheet. But we'll get into that. But Bert, you want to hit us with the price to earnings ratio, the basic undervaluation metric for TKO?
Heading into WrestleMania, the price is $91.79. The earnings per share are $1.84. It's a P ratio of 49.89, almost 50.
Ooh, 50 times right now, 2024 projected earnings, which again, projections can change from Yahoo Finance analysts, but yeah, it's a pretty high multiple. Now, the analysts in 2025 are expecting almost double that. So they're expecting 3.4. So if you actually like throw that in, they're still pretty high at 27. So overvalued slightly because hey, they're up 14% this year. I think at one point you could have got them in the
Yeah.
70s, which would have been a little bit more palatable.
Yes, I agree. So they are definitely not cheap right now, but again, they're a great company. They're firing on all cylinders. That's fantastic. It's
Yeah,
man,
so then what's
yeah.
that?
I was gonna say it's just a lot of fun right now, especially as we look at the PE. We can move on over to the balance sheet where we'll take a look here quickly at the current to quick ratio. And that's going to help us see can their short-term assets cover their short-term liabilities. Typically for the current ratio, we like to see right around 1. That means the current assets can cover the liabilities. It's assets divided by liabilities. Lanny, what's that current ratio here for TKO?
Yeah, it's right at one times, current assets over current liabilities. And they don't really hold inventory, or if they do, it's very immaterial and it's buried within other assets, which is
So
not
it's
even.
pretty much, wait, let me guess. It's the steel chairs, the tables, the ladders for the ladder match. The Hell in the Cell cage has to cost a lot, right?
And the fake blood capsules for sure.
No, 100%. So yeah, that's pretty liquid.
Long-term debt, they're at about 2.7 billion, down about 20 million from last year. But they do have some other long-term lease liabilities on their balance sheet. That's just more of an accounting nightmare. So other than that, I mean, decent balance sheet, plenty of, liquid assets to cover those current obligations.
I mean,
Um,
let's talk through this
nothing
too.
to,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
go
I
ahead, go
was
ahead.
like, they need to cut cash. Let's talk about the structure here for a second. They obviously have their employee. They have a few employees, right? Their management team from there. All the wrestlers are contractors, though. So it's not as if, like, if something happens, the contracts can just be canceled. So these aren't like, there's obviously some obligations. The ones you signed the longer. I know Cody just signed a massive new contract that's going to keep him there for years, but we've seen this plenty of time over the year at WWE. As things ebb, things flow. They'll have mass layoffs, and a lot of wrestlers just contracts will not be renewed, and then they're gone. So it's unfortunate, but it allows them to be nimble a little bit too.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see. I want to see them cross the 3 billion revenue threshold. I
Yeah.
think that's what I'd like to see. But overall, unfortunately, I should have probably grabbed a share of TKO for the hell of it back when they were like at 70 a share. But I'm not a buyer here at
No,
$92 a share, essentially.
no. So we're gonna have one more question here, Lanny. This is the big question I think everybody who's watching this video wants to know. It's morning of day 2 of WrestleMania. Does Cody finish his story here tonight? What's your projection?
Sorry, let me finish. No, no, no.
Whoa.
I didn't finish the story. What do you think?
I think he's going to, but the journey's not going to be over. Whether it's going to be setting up the next pay-per-view. And my guess is there's going to be a showdown with the final boss that's getting teed up with Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Somehow in some capacity. It's not going to be a clean win.
Well, let us know what you guys think about TKO, WrestleMania, who you guys have for the night. We would love to hear the feedback. Again, not a dividend stock video, but we had to talk about TKO stock. What's going on with Vince McMahon? What's going on with Endeavor and UFC, guys? We didn't even talk about Conor McGregor hopefully battling it out this summer. Our boy Stipe from Northeast Ohio, hopefully having some form of fight here in 2024.
If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and remember, if you're not with us, you're against us, Jack.
That was Bert, the Hurt, and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats, over and out.